Was that Gollum?
No.
I don't know, like Gollum.
No.
Hey, YouTube.
Let me see.
Welcome.
Hey.
So does it look like I'm in a basement of an abandoned building right now? Because that's what it kind of feels like.
We were going to ask you, and is forcing you to podcast right now.
What?
Blink if you're okay.
Best
Okay.
PSX moments.
That's great. That's what happens when Chad shows up last minute. They're like, "Oh, we're good. We don't have." What would you have done had I not come tonight? What would have happened?
Today.
I had to work all day.
Oh,
did I tell you guys? I went to bed at my normal time, which is like 2
a.m.
Right?
Yeah.
I got up at 4:30 a.m. Went down and showered, got in a van, went and drove and ran a shuttle route until 11 a.m. Drove back, got back at 11:30 a.m. Started my normal shift at noon, and worked until 8:15.
That sucks, dude. You need a new job.
I mean, it's good money, but
yeah. Well, I moved an entire household with 3 kids things into another house in a couple days. That's not fun. I'd never, ever want to move again. I'll tell you that right now. Moving sucks.
I know.
It is.
I hated moving,
worst.
and I only had to move one room worth of furniture.
Yeah, it's
11 things we learned at the PlayStation Experience.
Okay, get your audacity ready. Good grief.
Let's
ready?
see what the first one was.
Yep.
Oh man, it's one of those things where you got to hit next 1,000 times. View on one page. No, view on one page. Firewall 0 Hour is a new tactical VR shooter.
All right, in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 147 of the South Dakota Gamer Podcast. I'm your host, Chad Viz. Joining me with the other hosts, with the mosts, David Mann.
That's right, I'm here, folks. The host with the most to post.
And Joshua
as a ghost.
I literally just listened to Scott Rogowski make all of those rhymes a few minutes ago.
It gets old eventually. What do you say at the opening of that while the lag gets worked out and everything? If you haven't played HQ Trivia, you should do that. They gave away $10,500 on Sunday. And
they gave away $20,000.
Oh yeah,
they did a bonus
twice, right? Yeah, and 101 people won.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Their share of $10,000.
I'm
cool.
bitter because they had real tricksy questions.
How far did you get? What's the furthest you've gotten? Like, how far is the best you've gotten in the game so far?
8 questions is as far as I've gotten.
Dang.
I've gotten to 7.
Sucks.
8's pretty good. It's tough.
It sucks.
It is
tough. It gets hard.
We played tonight. Both Cecilia and I played tonight, and they threw a question out on question 2. Freaking question 2 that knocked us out. It was what was that lady's name? Jane Burns or something like that. Like, founded which magazine? And it was Jane, Hello, and Forbes. And we're like, can't be Jane. That's too obvious.
It was Jane.
Yeah,
right?
it was Jane. Mm-hmm.
That's when you start second guessing yourself.
Jane magazine is. Come on.
You know.
Hey, I just found out through HQ Trivia that there's no milk in making sourdough bread.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I found that out too.
See, you can win money and it's educational. Just like this podcast.
I was
at
like, what?
The educational part.
Just water and salt and what? No milk?
And sourdough? That's crazy. All right, well, we're going to get into what this podcast is.
Yeah, Chad,
as you're aware.
Remind folks again what episode this is.
147.
Yeah, 147. Where's the link to the outline? 147. Where is it?
So basically, Dave forgot which episode number this was and hadn't opened the link.
doesn't have the outline up, hasn't probably looked at it today.
Well, because I can't see. I can't see 147.
Is unaware of how this is going to go.
It's
a good thing.
With another one?
No, it's. I'm looking at it. Josh is looking.
It's the Dave and Josh show.
I don't
think that's
have
what the subject line was.
Huh?
All right, folks. We're going to live.
I don't have this link.
Troubleshoot this. Josh Owens and Dave Mann. So it has been shared to you in Google Docs for 7.
Is it before the link for 146?
It depends on when you've looked at it last. It'll put the most recent viewed one at the top.
No, I look at it through my emails.
It does.
The subject line was the Dave and Josh show or something like that.
Because
I don't have an email.
I was originally not going to be
I'm not saying I'm not shared with the thing. I just don't have the email.
Email.
No, I didn't delete it. I don't have the email.
You had it. You had to have had it.
I'm telling you, I don't delete. If you could look through my emails, like out of all like hundreds, it's just Chad Viss, and I don't delete any of your stuff.
All right. Well, I will. I'll share it with you here.
I should be able to click on one of the ones that take me, any of the ones that take me into Google Docs, and then get into.
Yeah, Google go to docs.google.com, and you should be able to.
I don't ever do that. I just always go through the email and hit the link, and it takes me right to the one I need.
This is great.
Let no one
podcasting, guys.
Let no one say that we are anything but transparent on this show.
That's right.
See, now
you see what you get, literally.
Chad, I'm telling you, I'm looking in Google Docs. I don't have 146. I swear to God, I don't have, or 147. I swear I don't. I have the Game of the Year list. I have SDG 145, 144, 143. They all go in order back till whenever, and then the one at the most recent one's 146.
All right. Well, I just shared it with you yet again. And while you open that up, Josh, can you let the viewers and listeners know all the new releases coming out this week? Please?
I would love to. New releases for this week are as follows: Battlefield 1, Turning Tides Premium Access for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One, December 11th. That's today.
Yeah,
that's yesterday. If you're listening to this podcast, time travel. I have this game. I don't even know what this is.
It's just more of the DLC.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out. Fallout 4 VR. That's exciting for the HTC Vive. Coming December 12th. Okami HD for PC, PS4, and Xbox One, also on December 12th. Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One on December 12th. And I think the Not a Hero free DLC releases at the same time.
Okay.
Correct? So that also should be out.
Evil, so I do not know, nor do I care.
I think it was time to release with the Gold Edition, so I'm gonna say that. If I'm wrong, sorry, listeners, but I'm excited to check that out. Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, whoop whoop, is coming to Xbox Game Preview on Xbox One on December 12th. So the Xbox Game Preview, from what I understand, is basically early access for Xbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Yes. All right, and then so you guys are excited about that?
Heck yes.
I'm excited about that because that means we're that much closer to it releasing on PS4 at some point. And then I can check it out. Final Fantasy 15 Episode Ignis for the PS4, Xbox, and Xbox One on December 13th. Fade to Silence is coming to Steam Early Access on PC December 14th. And that's my cat. And Romancing Saga 2 for the PC, PS2, Xbox One, Switch, and Vita, December 15th. PS2?
Copy and paste, man. Copy and paste. I'm sure that's a typo.
Oh, man.
Otherwise, I mean, I don't know.
They're still making PS2 games.
A couple of years ago, yeah. I guess it's not too crazy.
I mean, all the other ones make sense, I guess, but, well, cool. I'm going to guess that's probably supposed to be PS4.
Probably. That would make sense.
Because Xbox One, Switch, and Vita.
Right.
But
Forget PS4.
Either
Let's
way,
get that PS2 version out there.
all those Romancing Saga fans, you're finally getting your sequel after all this time. Yeah. And those are the new releases for this week.
All right.
The notable new
Excellent.
releases.
Thank you, Josh. The notable ones. Yeah, I'm sure there are some other obscure ones, but so those are the games that you can play brand new this week, but we have not played those games yet because we're in the past. But what we have played, we're about to tell you. Brought to us by our good friend and Patreon supporter, Papa Andy.
Episode 147.
Never leave home without him.
We're still figuring out how to say stuff.
We're still figuring out how to open the outlines and do the podcasting because
it's not a competition.
Best.
It's not a competition.
I'll tell you what I've been playing lately. I'll make it real quick. I played through the Curse of Osiris DLC story mode in Destiny 2, and the story was fun. It was relatively short, but I enjoyed it. I have not gotten any good exotics out of it. I was a little disappointed in that. But I did play through it, and it was a good time. We need to do the raid. We need to finish that. The SD Raiders, we have to get that done. We just have to, and it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. So let's figure that out and finish it. And I also played some Cuphead. So I played, after Dave talked about it last week, I knew I wanted to get it. $10 off for some reason. I got it for $16.99 instead of $19.99, and played a couple of the stages. I played the big round blue guy that punches you with his big old boxing glove. It is difficult. I was expecting it to be like frustratingly difficult, and maybe it will get to that point, but at first it's not difficult. Every time I did, I was like, yep, I should have just avoided that or jumped here or moved. That was on me. But it may get to a point where it's just annoyingly difficult. But I did a flying level, which was fun, and a little airplane. That was cool. The graphics and the style are just fantastic. I feel like I'm watching an old Looney Tunes cartoon or, like Dave said, old Steamboat Willie cartoon. It's great. It's just really cool. If you have an Xbox... That's Steamboat Willie. So if you have an Xbox, it's worth $20 for sure, and I definitely recommend getting it. So that's really all I've been playing because I've been moving my home into a new home, and I'm here in the new home.
Do that?
Yeah,
the new home was much bigger, obviously.
Chad put a house in a house.
Yeah,
I know.
The door that's a big door. That's a giant door.
Alice in Wonderland. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah,
that's how I did it. I shrunk it. Yeah.
So you ate some cool mushrooms and
and everything just worked out just fine.
It was just fine.
It was great, man, and we just faded here. Yeah. So that's all I've been playing. Josh, what have you been up to?
I played a few things this week. I spent a little bit of time with Kung Fu Panda Showdown of Legendary Legends.
Of course you did. And
I spent too much time with it. I spent more time than I should have
put it down
with it. I mean, honestly, yeah, it's not good. But it was stupid fun. Like it plays exactly like, well, not exactly. It plays worse than, but it's patterned after Smash Brothers. So it's like, I think it's an up to a 4-player brawler. But it, like, the controls are strange. Like it's like slow. It's not very snappy. And it's a little, I don't know. It's just not as polished as Smash Brothers. However, it is fun. Like playing as Poe and belly bumping people around the map is, I mean,
who doesn't like that?
It's just great fun. So, and there's like drops like happens in Smash Brothers. So like stuff appears on the stage and you can pick it up and hit people with it or throw it at them and like it'll do something else. There's like super moves like Smash Brothers. So, and you like the way you win basically is to knock people off the stage. Like everything is very much patterned after Smash. It just doesn't play as well. But it's fun. I mean, like for a free PS Plus game, it's fun. Cool. It's not too bad. I had purchased a while back. I purchased this game called Subject 13 and forgotten that I had it for a while. So I installed that and played it. basically a point and click like puzzle adventure game on the PS4. There's that's pretty much all it is. Like you walk around as the character, but like basically the only reason you're walking around is to get from one puzzle to another. To like jump into different ones or whatever, and like you're picking up items to combine them and like use them on different things. So it's very like 90s point and click puzzle game, adventure game, just like with better graphics. It's kind of a cool story. The most frustrating thing, I'm not spoiling anything. If anybody's interested in playing this game, this is not a spoiler. The very last puzzle is the very last puzzle is the biggest Minesweeper game you have ever seen in your life. Like,
spoiler.
Okay, so kids now, like our younger audience now, may not even know what the heck Minesweeper is. I'm sure we have all experienced Minesweeper in the early days when video games were hard to come by, and so you would sit in front of your computer going like, "What can this thing do?" And so we discovered Minesweeper, and I never really got it. Some people were really good at it.
I liked it.
I never really got
a lot of it.
I just don't have the brain for it. So like my method when I was playing Minesweeper when I was young is just click random squares. Some squares open up big whole sections of the map. If you're lucky, you win.
That's always the method to start out until you open up a big one, and then you work from there.
Yeah, but I was still clicking random ones after that, and I just sometimes I would get lucky and I won. So you're playing this Minesweeper game at the end of the. It's a big Minesweeper game. Like they don't call it Minesweeper, but that's what it is, and it's huge, like huge, bigger than any Minesweeper game should be. And if you explode one, like it wipes the whole thing out, and you got to start over. The good thing is it marks for you which squares are bombs. So like when you go back in, like it's marked as red. So you know not to click that one, but it's just super huge. So like there's a trophy for completing that puzzle in 20 minutes or less. It took me like over the span of like 2 days, I was working on this. It took me a good 3 or 4 hours to complete. Goodness. And the only reason I kept after it was just to see the ending of this stupid game that I had played up to that point. And like literally all I was doing by the end was like, well, I know all of these squares are bombs, so I'm just going to click all of the other squares. And if I hit a bomb, I will just start over. And now I know that one's a bomb. And so that's what I just kept doing. And eventually I got through it and finished the puzzle. And then I accidentally clicked the wrong thing at the ending and got the ending I didn't want. And I'm not playing it again to see the other ending. So I don't know how the good ending works.
Sounds awful.
I got the bad ending. But it was a fun game all the way up until that point. And then I spent the most time this week with... Okay, so I also played Hitman a little bit. I redid the training mission to reacquaint myself, and then I jumped in and I did the Paris mission. And I only completed it once. And I did it as Helmut Kruger. And that was super fun. It was super fun.
The catwalk.
Yeah, I've never played a video game where I could take on the persona of a supermodel and walk the catwalk as part of my mission, and I freaking nailed it. I was like a pro. Right. I like strutted down there. Yeah, like one of the background characters actually says at one point, like, "Give him your blue steel helmet" or something like that.
That's so cool.
But like it was cool that the game sort of takes over for you at that point. Like, so you're not like, you don't have to worry about how quick or slow you're walking. You can't fall off the runway. You just have to like press a direction on the directional pad. But it was pretty fun. And then like, I really love, I mean, like you guys have talked about it a long time ago, 'cause I'm way late to the game, but like, I really love all the creativity you have available to you, like to complete things. It's pretty fun. So I'm like, I can definitely see the replay value. Yeah. I'll be playing that mission over again. And then I spent the most time I jumped back into Bloodborne recently. I have the Old Hunters DLC and I hadn't played it. So I jumped back into it, and I had forgotten that I completed the game and like started a new game plus. So like I played a little bit after that, but kind of fell off. So I'm not very far into the game. So like I wasn't even to the point in the game where I could access. So I had to like play through the game a little bit and beat one of the bosses. in order to get to the DLC. I actually had to beat 2 bosses to get to the DLC. So that was kind of annoying because like it's something you pay for extra, and then they make you like play through the game and beat things in order to get to it. But it's very in keeping with From Software and how that game sort of is anyway. And it's freaking hard. The DLC is really hard, like way harder than the regular game. Like in the regular game, every now and then you'll run up against another hunter, which is what you are. That's what they call them. And you're like hunting the beasts, quote unquote, that are like taking over the city. It's like, you know, Victorian era London. And so like in the old Hunters DLC, as the name might imply, you're encountering like all these other hunters. And in the regular game, if you encounter another hunter, it's a really hard fight. But once you've beaten a hunter, like they don't appear on the map anymore. In the DLC, you have to fight these hunters every time. Like they're regular enemies that show up in the map, but they're really, really hard. They play different than the regular enemies. They're much stronger.
Yeah.
They have like, you know, different attack patterns. So it's really, really hard. So like I ran out of like health potions at one point. So I had to stop playing that and like go play other stuff to pick up more health potions and go back. So I haven't really made it even very far in, but like there are new weapons and new gear. Cool. So like that's fun. So yeah, it's like it's just as good as I remembered it. Like there's definitely a reason why it's probably in my top 3 video games of all time. It's really, really good. So I'll definitely be spending more time with that, you know, here in the next few weeks, but that's everything I played.
All right. Very nice. Dave?
Yeah. I played some games. Call of Duty World War II. Played some, I think, with you, Chad, and Hunter for a little bit.
It's been so long. Forget.
Couldn't remember. I get my weeks mixed up now. But I definitely played a little bit.
We didn't play on Monday because your internet died.
That's right. Played a little bit with Tyler and TJ and some of their friends, and then quickly jumped from that because it was a bad night to Rocket League. Played Rocket League for quite a bit and had a lot of fun. Won a lot of games. Had a lot of laughs. I also played a lot of Cuphead. No, I shouldn't say a lot. I played Cuphead and was beating some of the bosses. Like it's one of those games where I get really frustrated and I have to beat the boss before I can move to the next thing.
Right.
So I beat like 2 bosses and that was it. And I went to play something else. So I, as I've said on the podcast, I did get an Xbox One again, getting ready to play some PUBG tonight. Depending on how fast 30 gigs or whatever downloads, because you can't do it quick or ahead of time because it's game for you. Mm-hmm. So I had Rainbow Six Siege on there. Actually, Chad, you sent it to me, but I guess I must have bought it too.
Because I bought it on the Xbox.
Yeah, didn't you send me a copy of it one time?
I may have. I don't remember. I know we own it on the PlayStation.
Oh, maybe it was the PlayStation. Yeah, it was the PlayStation I was playing it on. Sorry. It was the PlayStation I was playing it on. And I went in and started going through all of the situations, what they call basically the training before you go into this. And I was like, realizing, it would be a lot of fun to play this with people that took it seriously and was a group and communicated and knew what they were doing. Had a lot of fun. I mean, we spent like a couple hours by myself in Rainbow Six Siege, just going through and playing everything, methodically taking out stuff and learning all the different ways to progress through a level and stuff. Cool. Really good game. And it's also a game that the developer really services well. It had like a kind of a slow launch, but they have really turned that around and have really rolled out a bunch of content to that game, like consistently. And to the best of my knowledge, it still has a really good player base.
Yeah, today. Season 3 is starting soon.
Yeah, so played that. I also got another. Speaking of game preview, I didn't buy it actually. I'm going to. I just didn't because I started playing other stuff. But a game called Astroneer, and I sent you guys some text about it. I described it as a third-person No Man's Sky, but more cartoony. Not cartoony, but just more like cel-shaded, not cel-shaded. I don't know what I'm saying. It's but it's not realistic looking.
Okay.
And it has 4-player co-op online, which I thought was really cool. and basically you can devolve or deshape or shape or whatever the world, any of the planets that you're on. The way they say is like Play-Doh. Like you have this gun and you can basically lower it, raise it, level it, stuff like that. And you collect things as you go, different minerals and different resources and organic stuff that can power different things that you can make. And you're in this little astronaut suit. And when you start the game, you launch down in a pod, and you've got a little tether, a little glowing tether that has your air. And when you go too far, the tether leaves you and you go off, and you have an oxygen meter that goes down relatively quickly. I don't know if you can upgrade it to where it doesn't do it as quick, but I had to learn real quick. Okay, I have to mine these specific materials so I can make tethers, so I can make my air reach further, so I can go around and do these different things. And you can build generators. You can eventually build customized vehicles that you can drive around. It showed people driving around in separate vehicles, following each other all over this world, like up and down, making bridges to go over big gaps with your gun once you have enough material, going down, exploring caverns. You can also build spaceships and leave the planet and go to other moons and other planets, and do all kinds of stuff and make all kinds of modules and space stations basically with your friends. And so it looks really cool, and I think it's only $20 or something. So I thought I would check it out. I liked it. I'm gonna look into it more. And then I played some The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild because of the new DLC that came out, which is pretty cool. I gotta say, I did find out the specifics on the DLC when it takes place. You cannot access it until you've gotten all 4 divine beasts. Right. Which fortunately I had. So I went and started it, and it's kind of like, okay, all right, like it's all stuff I want to do, like I'm interested, but it's like one of those things like, oh man, you just like expanded my duties by like 20 hours at least. A lot. Because you go in there and you do this thing. It's kind of like the first time I played A Link to the Past, where you get sent on your first mission. Oh, go get these 3 pendants. You're like, oh, okay. You go through, you learn all these dungeons, all these puzzles in these dungeons. You beat the boss. Man, okay, I got 2 more. Then you got to go do all that. You find stuff along the way. You get the Master Sword. You go back. You fight the wizard. You go through, and all of a sudden, you're in the Dark World. And it's like, okay, now you got to get 7 maidens free from these 7 things. You're like, oh my gosh. It was like that in the DLC. I did something that I had to do 4 things, and once I did 4 things, it split into another 4 things each, and then they all like expanded, and it's like all these different quests for all these different things. But you get good gear, cool gear, and one of the things specifically that I want, I can't remember it all, but one of the things is just like some horse gear that allows you to, it gives you more spurs, I guess, to make your horse run faster. But the important thing is you can call it from anywhere and it'll come, no matter how far away it is. Nice. Like Epona from the 64 game, or from Ocarina of Time. So that's cool, because before that you had to be, I don't know what the distance was from your horse for it to come to you in Breath of the Wild, but now it'll come to you anywhere, which is will be very convenient.
That's cool.
So I'm looking forward to play more of that. Still, man, so much to play in the Breath of the Wild. I haven't even beat the game yet. I still haven't beat the game. And then, last but not least, I did play some Fortnite with the Steel Brothers. And then I have it on my Xbox too, because my brother and cousin and some other people play it. So this morning when I came back from a morning run, or not run, but run as in driving.
Yogging. They call it yogging.
I had 30 minutes before I had to start my other shift. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to jump on Xbox, play a couple games of solo or however long, Fortnite. First one, I died pretty quick. I was like, dang, that sucks. Like, I shouldn't have died. That was not fair, whatever. The next one, I made it. I was being real careful, getting my materials and avoiding stuff, killed one guy. And then just by way of being smart and staying out of things, it came down to me and one other dude. And I was standing there, and I built some stuff and then ran behind a natural structure that was just there. And so he's shooting. All of a sudden, as the circle's getting closer and closer and closer, he shoots all these grenades at the brick walls that I built. which I wasn't standing behind. She's shooting, blow up, blow up. And then he waited, and I waited. And I was kind of like using the camera angle to look without peeking my guy around. And then he shoots a bunch more at the same thing. And I waited and I waited. Then he shot a bunch more at the thing I was at, blew up all but one standing wall of it that I was standing behind. And I'm like, is he going to shoot this one? Like, and I think he had to reload or he was out because I saw him move. And so when I saw him move, I ran out and kept a tree between us so he couldn't see me moving. And then I got like within 10 feet of him, jumped out, started to shoot. He jumps in the air. All of a sudden, my gun starts clicking. I ran out of bullets. So I'm like, no. I switched to, I spam through my weapon, missing the one I want. Go to another one, shoot, hit, shoot, miss, shoot, click. Run out of bullets on that one. I'm like, no, I'm starting to freak out.
That killed you.
I keep thinking, I'm going to freak out and lose. That's what's going to happen. It's happened so many times. I'm going to spaz out. Finally, I went to my pistol. That's all I had left. Shot him, killed him. Won.
Wow.
First place.
Nice.
Wow. My first time doing it. I felt really good, especially on this eve, this PUBG eve. I feel like I'm ready, guys.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm ready
for
the big leagues.
Good job.
PUBG. And then
Congrats.
my friend TJ crapped all over my Cheerios as far as
He did. He stirred it all up.
Like he doesn't want PG. He doesn't like PG or PUBG.
Yeah. He doesn't want a PG.
He doesn't
13.
like parental guardian stuff.
Parental guardian. All right. Cool. Anything else?
That's it, guys. That's it. That's all
All right. So those are the games we've been playing this last week. We look forward to talk about PUBG and other things next week. But for now, that's going to bring us into the news that you can use
if you so choose
to do solo.
Brought to us by our good friend and Patreon supporter, Paco.
Chad, you stole my thunder. Very, very, very weakly, I might add.
Paco. He needs no grandeur, great introduction. He's Paco. That's all you need to know.
Okay. Yeah, he's not going to be happy with that. He's not going to accept that as buttering him up. And
well, I can't do it here. Go for it. Do it. Do it then.
You missed it
right.
up.
And Firsthand Supply, where you can get some real good beard oils. You missed out on their Cyber Monday deals, but still, go spend some money so you can dip the world in it. It's real good. It's real good. All right, here we go. Just a few items on the news list, and then we're going to get to some Game Awards news. First off, a few days before the Game Awards came out, Square... I'm not mad. Square... Paco's going to be mad. Square announced that they will have some information on the new Tomb Raider game early 2018. So they didn't announce anything. They didn't say what it was, but they said, we do have a new Tomb Raider game, which has been rumored and leaked, and we're going to talk about it next year.
Yeah, we got a pre-announcement.
Yeah.
It always cracks me up
guys.
When game developers do this. Hey, this is it's gonna be a thing, and we're not gonna talk about it, but we're gonna talk about it.
No, but we're gonna talk about the thing.
Yeah,
sometime
we're gonna talk
later.
about when we're gonna talk about it. Is what's gonna happen right now.
Yeah, I mean, the game has all but been leaked.
Yeah,
for the most part,
I feel like I totally forgot that this was even a thing, that they were working on another one. I mean, I guess I knew that there was going to be another one because it's a successful franchise so far.
Yeah,
but like,
great game.
I totally forgot that this was a thing, and so it's exciting that we're gonna have some information. They're saying a major event. I'm assuming E3.
Major event. Yeah, most likely. I mean, why would you announce? Hey, we're gonna announce something at a major event. It's a major award.
I can't think of any other major events between now and E3.
Yeah, they don't really do much in the spring. So, okay. Thanks, Square.
But that's exciting.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to whatever that game is. I like those games. All right. Next, Far Cry 5 is a game that is a big game. It's supposed to come out next year. It has been delayed by 1 month to March of 2018. They also delayed their racing game, The Crew. I think they delayed that by a month. And then one other Ubisoft game they delayed. I forget which one that one was. But basically 3 game delays all announced in the same day. Nothing really big as far as time-wise, but some. So that's okay. I mean, I don't have a problem going from February to March when it comes to Far Cry 5. So that's good.
Yeah, I'm fine with
It's
it.
gonna be so good. It looks real good.
It is. I'm excited. PlayStation has announced they've sold over 70 million PlayStation 4s since launch.
Not too bad.
Huge. And also 2 million PSVRs have been sold since launch of that system as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
also not bad. That's especially for being. I mean, like I'd be interested to see like what Oculus and Vive and like all of them have sold too, but that being like sort of still an experimental like piece of hardware, like we're developers and consumers alike,
Right.
I think are still trying to figure it out. And the fact that just the PSVR, like there's 2 million of those in people's hands, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet hopefully that's more than they expected. I mean, they're definitely, we'll get to that here in a minute, but they're doing a lot for it. They're still making a ton of games in the future coming out for PSVR. So they're putting effort into it. So that's a good thing. Eventually I hope to get one myself. All right. Next, cosmetic items are available to buy. Well, they are no longer today, but for a limited time, you could buy a custom limited edition outfit for your character in PUBG before the game is out. Now, PUBG has always, and I don't know about always, but they have loot crates. You can spend real money and get strictly cosmetic items. They're on Steam, however, you can turn around and actually sell them for real money, and give them to other players. So there's like a purple skirt or something that literally goes for like $500, and you just get it randomly in a loot crate. But for the Xbox release, they put out a specific, Xbox, not even branded, but just Xbox only cosmetic shirt and pants and some other stuff. It was $10, and you could only buy it for 3 days. I think the 10th was the last day you could buy it, and that's the only time it'll ever be sold before the game even is in game preview to play. So, yeah. So, what do you guys think of that?
$10.
You care?
I think I have to say, this isn't, I guess, addressing the actual point at hand, but it's just saying these developers are getting a little. I mean, this stuff is greedy already, I feel. But when did all of a sudden some of this stuff start costing $10 and $20-something for just fake clothes? I mean, it used to be like, oh, you want this skin? $1.99.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's still, $1.99. A lot of people. Then I was looking at Fortnite, and you could buy an outfit for Fortnite for like 1,500 points, right? Now, how do you get these points? Well, you have to buy them unless you've already bought the game, and you can win them within the main campaign. But for people that just downloaded the Battle Royale, you can get these skins for 1,500 points. Now, when you go into their store for like $10 or something, you can get 1,000 points.
Yeah,
or something like
but
that.
That's a free game as well.
Not enough to get the clothes. You have to spend like $25 to get enough credits to buy a skin. $25. The game is like $30.
Right.
Like what?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you just buy the game? Yeah. Right. No. Yeah, I get it. You're not wrong.
I mean, why? If they made that like $5, they'd make a lot more
and not
money.
make it limited. The fact that it's limited, I think, is what they are hoping to push people to get. Is I only have 3 days to get it, and it'll never be available again. So it puts you in a tier, an echelon where you're exclusive. I have this, and there's not very many people that do.
I'm sure I'm gonna notice all these kids in PUBG. Oh yeah, that's the special limited edition outfit they're wearing. Look at that dude.
Like, oh man, you're so cool. Brat, brat, brat.
I wish I would spend that money.
Like I without the secondary market, because Steam has always had the secondary market. Well, not always, but like for a long time, Steam has had that secondary market where like you buy things in CSGO or in Dota or now in PUBG or whatever. And there's like that secondary market where you can trade that to somebody for like real currency. And so like I understand some of that. I still think a lot of that is really crappy, but like I understand how that system works, but like to make it a timed exclusive, and not like timed exclusive as in like it's on Xbox right now, but then it'll be everywhere in a little bit. But like you can only get this for a certain amount of time, and then it's gone forever. Like there's literally no reason to do that on Xbox, except for like just putting people in the mode that like I have to buy this now.
Yep.
Which I think
be part of that club.
But like my other thing is like as a general rule, so like looking at all games that have tried models like this with like not even game breaking stuff, but just cosmetic stuff, more often than not, it ends up ruining the whole thing. There are exceptions, Overwatch being one of them. And Rocket League being one of them, you know, Dota and CSGO, like both of those obviously are very successful games. Fortnite seems to be doing okay with it so far, but like more often than not, stuff like this ends up ruining a game. And it's just, that was the other thing that was surprising to me is that like they're jumping into this, but like they're doing it before the game is even released on Xbox. Like they're like, buy stuff for this game.
Play this game.
Before you can even play it. Like that seems like a real bold move. I'm so curious to know how it worked. Like I want to know how much money they made off of that.
Yeah, that's a good question. And how much does Xbox get of that, or Microsoft too? You know, maybe that's why it was $10. So yeah, there you go. You can't buy it anymore, but it was available.
Call me old fashioned, but I miss the days when you just buy a game, and then that's all.
Yep.
Nobody's reaching into your pocket,
man. Old man Josh.
I don't like it.
Old man Josh.
I don't like it.
I don't like it one bit. Get off my lawn.
You know what? I would rather, like, if this is going to continue to be the trend, I would rather they raise the price of video games and just be done with it.
It's been talked about. Yeah, that's been talked about. But the thing is, what'll happen, Josh, is they'll raise the price of video games by $10, and they'll still do the other stuff.
And then they'll still run the microtransactions. I know. So my thing is then, if you're going to have freaking microtransactions in your game and you expect to make that much money off of it, if it's that important to you that you put it in your game, freaking game. Give me a $40 game and put microtransactions in your game.
Yeah. In a perfect world, huh?
Don't like it.
Yeah, I know. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
All right, a couple more things real quick, a little bit more lighthearted than that. Pikachu, the little Pokemon that everyone loves.
That has never spoken.
Guys, whoever says is his name or some variation of his name. That's what they do. Yeah. Pokemon say their own names. What if Pikachu could speak real sentences? Okay.
I hate it.
Now it gets better though, Josh. Wait. He can speak full sentences and then he sounds like Deadpool.
Oh, okay.
Then
it's totally fine.
Because a few years ago about how they're going to do this Detective Pikachu, which is kind of like a live action with animated stuff in it, and the voice of Detective Pikachu has been cast, and it is Ryan Reynolds. No, Josh don't like this. You're messing with his Pikachu. Don't mess with Josh's Pokemon.
It's not even that. Pikachu. I don't care that much about Pikachu and whether or not he's ever spoken. I hate that we live in a world that this can possibly even be a thing. Ryan Reynolds, some would consider like one of the bigger A-list actors right now.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
Ryan Reynolds was cast as freaking what is happening? As Pikachu in a live-action movie? Stop it. Why is Ryan Reynolds wasting his time on this movie?
Maybe his kids love Pokemon and it's the coolest thing in the world. And so he's like, whatever. I got bazillions of dollars. I'll do it. It's not going to hurt my reputation.
Man, I don't like what this says about the world that we live in.
Well, you should look around.
I know. Pikachu, it's not the weirdest thing to happen by far.
Pikachu goes to New York, rated R.
Yeah. Like, Mom. Where's Francis?
I can't.
All right.
I can't even picture Ryan Reynolds' voice coming out of.
Well, don't worry.
A yellow.
Not too long from now, you'll have the first trailer of Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, trust me, I will be watching this when it comes out. As much as I'm saying I don't like it, just sheer morbid curiosity, I will see this. So
Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool's Pikachu's. All right. Speaking of trailers, lastly on the news this week, we have a trailer that was released. The Ready Player One trailer dropped this past weekend. Did you guys get a chance to see that?
I didn't.
It's good.
I didn't realize it came out.
Whew. I missed it. Like, I love the book. First of all, is incredible, but I love what the story does for the scope of the movie, because you've got the real world, and then you've got the virtual world that this kid gets into, and like you can literally do anything with this story and like in this virtual world.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it looks CGI because it's in a video game. So like,
so
that makes it even better. Like, I cannot wait. Yeah. Are you reading it now, or have you read it before?
No, I've read it before. I'm tempted to read it again.
I've been thinking about it too.
But it's a good book. So in the trailer, you get to see Tracer from Overwatch. You get to see Harley Quinn from Batman. You get to see Chucky, yes, the murderous doll. And you see a Gundam. And it's insane. There's a DeLorean.
Yeah.
There are so many 80s pop culture references. It's insane. It's real good. Plus Tracer from Overwatch 2016. So whatever.
For like just like a tiny brief second in the trailer. Like you get enough of a glimpse to be like, was that? I think that was
and not a cartoony version. It's like a more realistic looking CGI version. So so that I forget the date they put on that, but I think it's next year sometime. Obviously not too long from now. So there you go. Video games in your movies. Let's see if this one's good.
Since we're talking about movies, I feel like we'd be remiss not to mention that episode 8 is coming out this week.
Yes,
this week, guys.
When are you going to see it, Josh?
Thursday.
Yeah, same.
I got tickets to the premiere, so I'm excited. I'm wearing my. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm wearing my Star Wars hoodie right now. I've been in full Star Wars mode for a very long time. I'm so excited.
Very cool. Well, when you get done watching it, the South Dakota Gamer YouTube channel did a cross promotion with the Star Wars Rant podcast this past Thursday, and we did a video and an audio of our Star Wars Episode 8 predictions.
Okay.
Where Dave, myself, and Brian Seddon each took 6 predictions that we thought would happen in this movie to be scored, and the winner will get tickets bought for the next Star Wars movie that comes out.
So, all right.
Once you're done, we'll go.
I will tune into that episode.
Yeah, and see how we did.
I'll keep my own
crazy
score.
ones in there. Yeah, there's some crazy ones in there. So yeah, Star Wars coming out real soon. We'll talk about that here on this podcast as well.
Yeah.
Next, the Game Awards. Dave thinks he's going to win. We'll see. I'm going to win. All right, the Game Awards. Jeff Keighley, the Keighleys, as they're known. Jeff Keighley puts together a show. It's kind of like the Oscars for video games. I think this is their 6th year that it's been running. And that happened, I believe, was it Friday night or Thursday night? One of those two. And I have a few things that I just want to go through real quick. We're not going to spend a ton of time on these, but we're going to go through them. It's not everything that happened at the Game Awards. I'm definitely missing some things. So, guys, if there's something that I didn't put down that you want to bring up, definitely do so. But the first one is something Dave already brought up. It was the Champions Ballad DLC. And they had, what's the guy's name that does the Zelda games?
Shigemoto?
It's not Miyamoto. No, it's not Miyamoto. It's
Miyazaki?
SH something. Shigemoto or they have like almost the same name, don't they?
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, he was wearing the blue tunic, has a Master Sword, came out and they showed some footage for the DLC, and then said that that DLC was available tonight as far as the night of the Game Awards. So Dave talked about that a little bit already and touched on that, so that's real cool. And also, spoiler, Legend of Zelda got Game of the Year from the Game Awards as well. So Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Game of the Year for 2000.
Shigeru
I feel like
Miyamoto.
we sort of called.
There you go.
It is Miyamoto.
Sort of called. Yeah, I think we did.
I think we all three said like we would not be surprised in the slightest if it won Game of the Year. I think it's well deserved.
Absolutely. So then another thing that happened, they showed another Death Stranding trailer, Kojima's game. It was 8+ minutes long. Norman Reedus was there. There was a baby. The baby was down his esophagus. It gave a thumbs up to the camera.
Just swallowed him right in there.
And Norman Reedus cried.
And then it was like, I'm fine. Everything's fine in here.
Yeah. He was underwater, swimming around. There was an invisible thing, and then bodies vaporize and turn to gold and disappear into the air. And
saw
a guy stabbed himself in the stomach a bunch of times.
I saw a tweet of a guy. I saw a tweet of a guy that just tweeted a picture of dialogue. It said developer talking to Hideo Kojima, and it goes, so you go down his esophagus and the baby gives a thumbs up, and then Norman Reedus cries. Yeah, exactly. Okay, is this after like the gravity stops, or is this when they're underwater? This is when they're underwater. Like, haven't you been listening to anything I'm saying?
It's insane. There's like even people that are involved are like, yeah, we don't know what this is. We don't know what the game's about. Mads Mikkelsen, Guillermo del Toro's like, we don't know. I don't know what this game is. But then if you want, Marty Sleeve over at IGN had a good interview with Kojima, and Kojima actually gave a little bit of a backstory to some of the things and his thoughts and processes, and it's actually insightful. It doesn't explain what the game is in any shape or form, but it does give you a little insight to what he's thinking, and it makes a little bit more sense. Not the baby down the throat giving the thumbs up. That makes zero more sense.
Did he talk more about being connected? Everything being connected?
Well, he talked about the sticks and the ropes again. Yep, he did talk a little bit about that. He did say that the robot arm on the shoulder has a name. It has a name, but he didn't give what the name of it is. He talked about dying in video games and what that means, and when you die in his game, what that means. It's worth the read. It's a very good interview, very good article.
Yeah, he said one of those parts like where he's like underwater and then he comes out and he's like coughing up whatever. Like that's bugs. Apparently where you go when you die. Yeah, like beetles or whatever they were. Like
he coughed out beetles, and then they instantly crawled up the air behind him.
Yeah, like they just like they were crawling on something. It was like something you see in like the older like N64 games when just things just glitched out and went crazy, and things were just walking on things that weren't there. That's what it looked like. But this was apparently on purpose in a trailer.
On purpose.
I did also hear or read somewhere that Sony, I don't know who at Sony, but someone at Sony got their hands on a portion of this game and played like a 5-hour chunk
4 hours
of this game.
Yeah, Mark Cerny said that. Yep.
And apparently when you're playing this game, all of like everything that we saw in that trailer is going to be in the game. And he said all of that will make sense once you have played the game.
Yeah.
You'll know exactly what's going on in every part of that trailer, which is insane.
Yeah.
Just in that little 4-hour
trailer. Yeah, the trailer we saw is the beginning, basically. Like, we saw the trailer at E3 last year and the Game Awards last year. What we saw this time was before either of those. So the whales, the dead whales, the C-section that Norman Reedus had, you know, and the Mads Mikkelsen going through the tunnel. This happens before all of that. And Mark Cerny is the guy, basically the architect of the PS4, maker of Knack and Knack 2. He interviewed Kojima at I think that was at PSX. He interviewed them. He said he played between 4 to 5 hours of the game. So the game's playable in some form, at least portions of it. That's going to be great. I can't wait till that game comes out in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years from now.
I know it's going to be so long. I hope it's worth it. I love that the guy that at one point wanted to make a video game where you die once and the game doesn't work anymore is now making a game where death doesn't really mean anything. You just you don't really die.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't end.
Yeah. Right. It doesn't end. Yeah. Definitely go read that interview.
Interesting.
It's good. It's real good. Next we got some Soul Calibur 6 has been announced. You let fight with Yeah. Okay. Speaking of PUBG, because we spoke of it earlier, we talked about the new map that they're doing in the desert map. That is available as of the Game Awards on the PTR, and I've been watching people play that today. Looks real cool. It's a lot different, and the full release for the PC game, the 1.0 version, is going to be December 20th. So another week, and the full version will be out on the PC, which means not long after, I'm sure, the full release will go for the Xbox as well, which means Xbox will get the desert map and things like that too. So that's exciting. Real good game. Looking forward to playing it. Desert looks real cool.
Yeah.
Next, Bayonetta 1 and 2 are being remastered and released on the Switch, and then Bayonetta 3 is also being made for the Switch exclusively on the Switch, Bayonetta 3. Did you guys play Bayonetta at all?
I'm really interested in Sea of Thieves coming out on March 20th.
Okay, Dave just went right past Bayonetta.
All right, well,
I do want to say I do love seeing games.
Yeah, that's good. An exclusive.
A Switch exclusive. Like Bayonetta is a pretty big franchise, so
yeah,
that's huge. That's a huge get.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, what are you excited for, Dave? Sea of Thieves?
I think Sea of Thieves is going to be really cool.
Yeah,
everything. Every single games media person I've heard who's played Sea of Thieves has had a blast, and it looks fun.
Right.
Something you could.
I signed up to be
your friends.
To be part of their insider club, and by doing so, I should be able to get into the closed beta. However, I had to sign an NDA agreement at the bottom of my email in order to be in this. So yeah, like they say you can't stream it, you can't talk about it in any public forum that's going to be put on the internet. Like we could have a conversation about it, but I couldn't record it or put it out. It was really detailed, and I actually read it. I was a little worried to do it, but I did. So
yeah,
I haven't played any of it yet, but I'll tell you when I do, when I can. It's not really that big of a deal. It seems like I'm an insider. I'm not. I probably won't even get in. Another game, and the developer made kind of a big splash at the Game Awards, is A Way Out. That's that co-op 2-player game where you're escaping prison, and you can play online or split screen. Couch co-op, and you see they're two brothers escape from prison, and you can play from each perspective side by side. So you have a split screen, you'll see each brother on one side or the other, and you can see the other person's perspective. Only one game is needed, so like if I own the game, Dave and I can play even without game sharing, or Josh and I could play. As long as one person owns the game, 2 people can play. And the developer got up there, and he
online.
He even has a tweet out there that says F buying 2 games. Hashtag F buying two games. One person owns the game, 2 people can play it. So he had a rant, and it seems like part of it may have been orchestrated, but I think he may have gone a little further than was planned. He said F the Oscars. He said F EA, even though EA is publishing his game. He's like F EA and all that, but they're not bad. They've been great to me, and they're awesome. I love them. But F that stuff. It just went berserk. And he's like, I'm a pet, and I don't know what nationality he is. He's not American. I almost want to say Italian, but I don't know if that's right. But he's like, I'm passionate about my game, and I'm just gonna tell you, I'm not gonna mess around. I'm a passionate man. I'm just gonna tell you what I think. My game's good, and if people say they don't like it, well, they're wrong. It's just a good game. I love it. He just started going nuts and crazy, and Jeff is
Jeff Keighley's like. Yeah, he's like, but we can talk more after we show the clip, and he's like, no, we can't. We got to be done.
He's like, show the clip. We'll talk after. It's like, no. He's like, do you want people to see it? Well, yeah. Well, now we got to stop.
I understand what he was doing, but that's probably one of the most annoying things I've ever seen on one of these.
It was weird.
Like it was awkward, and like Jeff was obviously trying to be very nice, but like at one point, like Jeff just sort of had to get like, no, you're done. Like that's all. And we have to move on because he just would not
stop.
Rock
star to everybody though afterwards. Everyone loves
him. Well, of course, the internet loved him, and I understand why he was doing it. Like, in part because he wants to say like, yes, my game is being published by EA, but it was not developed by an EA developer, and so like we want to separate ourselves from what's going on with like Battlefront 2 and all that stuff. So I get why he was doing it, but he went off the rails a little bit.
It was funny. It's worth cringe watching at least once. So yeah, that game is coming out in March. All that to say, they did get a release month coming out in March. That looks real cool. And then Campo Santo, developers of Firewatch, announced a new game as well called Valley of the Gods, which showed it's a third-person view. Showed 2 people what looks like to be exploring like Egypt area. So it looks real cool. Definitely worth looking into. And then From Software teased a new game as well. Called I don't know what it's called. It's really gruesome and grotesque. It showed what looks like torture. Yeah, I almost didn't include it. It showed like these like two bones, like you'd think in your forearm, with like rope in between it and some gristle and bloodiness, and just like twisting it, and like you would twist a body to like apply pressure, and it just had in words at the very end, white words on a black background, "Shadows die twice." That's all it said. So there's some speculation out there as to what that may be, but not up my alley. Most likely.
I was trying to figure out if this could possibly be a Bloodborne sequel.
Some people wonder that too.
However, Shadows don't really have anything to do with Bloodborne. They didn't talk really about Shadows much at all.
No.
In Bloodborne,
there are some games out there that Front Software has done that have Shadows related to them. I think Shadows dies twice is even a phrase a character says. So it could be something completely different than that. But
yeah. So either way, though, like, I mean, I'm definitely in. Like, I love their stuff.
Of course you are.
Whatever this is, sign me up. I like it.
Sign me up.
If you hadn't included this, Chad, I definitely would have mentioned it.
Put it in there. And then the last thing I have on the list here is Metro Exodus, which is the Metro 2033, and what's the other one called? Last Light? No, I can't remember. But the sequel to that, Last Light, is coming out in the fall of 2018. They showed another trailer for that. Looks like a great game. Very fun. I enjoyed the first two, so that's coming out fall of 2018. So though that, I don't have all the winners of all the different categories in here. If you want to see that, you can find that in numerous different places. We announced the Legend of Zelda winning game of the year.
I have a beef.
Okay.
Mario
sandwich
plus Rabbids, or whatever that game is called, won best strategy game.
Yeah.
Over Divinity Original Sin 2. One of the
Divinity Original Sin 2 is a strategy game?
It's, I mean, you could definitely put it in that category. It's like it's real-time strategy. Like it's a turn-based like RPG. There's a lot of strategy to it. Like it could definitely be in that category.
Okay.
And so I just like one of the games with like one of the biggest cult followings ever. And Mario and Rabbids. Like and granted, I haven't played that game, so I don't know what it plays like, but I feel like that's a little bit of a miss in that category. That's really the only beef I had. Just wanted to make sure everyone
let it be known.
Yep.
All right,
Jeff.
Fair enough.
I think that's some BS.
Give Josh a call, Jeff. Not cool with it. All right, that's it for the Game Awards as far as news for us goes. Lastly, PSX also happened, PlayStation Experience. Well, the very next day. And while I was moving, I was unable to really catch a whole lot of it. I did read an article here or there. I caught some of, like I said, the Mark Cerny interview, but that's about it. I know Sid Schumann emceed it, does their PlayStation podcast. Pretty cool guy. And so I was kind of led it to Josh and Dave to kind of give us some information. And as Dave mentioned, he worked quite a bit today. His hours were a little wonky. So Josh was able to catch some highlights. And he's going to fill us in quickly here on a couple of the highlights for PSX.
Yeah, so not a ton of stuff that I care a lot about. It was not it wasn't a crazy PSX. I feel like last year was a lot crazier.
Yeah.
But so it started off with the scissor reel that showed like a ton of stuff like Farpoint and Super Hot VR and stuff like that. And then they got right into there was a bunch of VR stuff like right at the top. So there was a game called Firewall 0 Hour, which I think is exclusive to PlayStation VR. It's very Rainbow Six Siege. And so it's like a 4v4 tactical shooter. So that looked interesting. The Last Guardian VR demo, which I think is a free update if you already own the game. So there's like a small, it's not like you can't play the whole game in VR, but there's like a small section of the game that you can play in VR if you already own the game. And then Wipeout VR Omega Collection was announced. So basically it's just Wipeout, but in VR. And then they talked a little bit about like the Frozen Wilds. They showed some God of War gameplay. They showed a lot more.
State, though, right?
It looked pretty good. Like it was basically just more of like what we had already seen. And they just went through like a longer section of the game. It was more gameplay than we'd seen so far, but it looks pretty good. Like I feel like I'm gonna need to like play it to really decide how I feel about it, because like I've played the other God of War games and it seems completely different from those.
Right.
It seems a little more like Horizon Zero Dawn-esque as far as like gameplay and all that stuff goes, but it looks good.
Cool.
And then they showed a lot more of Dreams than we've seen previously, which is like Media Molecule, like it's it's the game that Colin had such a big problem with for the longest time, because he was like, make the game before you give it to me, don't give me a thing and make me make the game. But it really does look pretty cool. Like it looks almost limitless. And it's really hard to describe, so like I would just say go watch a trailer or something for it, but it looks pretty cool. There was a game called Donut County, which was like it's like a puzzle game. There's like you move a hole around and it changes size each time you like let something fall through it. So it's sort of like a puzzle game. You have to like figure out which order to like make stuff fall through in, I guess. I don't know. It seems like along the scale of like Overcooked or something like that. So there was that. And then I think they showed a little more of like Detroit Become Human.
Yeah, they did a playthrough of that live, didn't they?
There was a lot of controversy because there was like depicted like child abuse, and so they were like, there's been a lot of outcry like about the child abuse being depicted in a video game, which seems ridiculous because it's already in TV shows and movies. So why would it be different here? But anyway, and then they showed some more of Monster Hunter World, and apparently you can have Mega Man as a sidekick in that game, which is weird and cool. And then
I do want to say,
yes,
I forgot to mention I did play a little bit of the beta of Monster Hunter World.
Oh, how was it?
It was interesting. I deleted it pretty quick, but I don't think that's a thumbs down for me. It's just it didn't seem like my thing. Of course, I wasn't playing with people I knew. It was just random people. But
does it seem very like
looks really nice?
Does it seem very multiplayer heavy?
They only let you play like one monster chase thing, and you're just like, from my experience, it didn't grab me because all we did was like 3 of us or 4 of us, and we just ran and chased this monster, and just when we got to it, we just like hacked and slashed the whole time until we killed it.
So I'm wondering how like the previous games it's going to be. Like the previous games didn't catch me because they were too fetch questy. Like the whole game is built around like, go kill this many of this type of monster and bring back their hides, or like go do this and like bring back this. And it got really like super repetitive really fast, and I just didn't care for it. So I'm wondering, like, this game seems a lot more open. So I'm hoping it's gonna be better, but yeah, I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna be into that or not. Yeah, so then after that they showed a couple other things, and then the 2 biggest things like that they capped off with was they talked about Death Stranding a little more, and then, well, not a little more, they talked about it a lot, and then they announced that they ended with the announcement that Medieval is getting a remaster for the PS4, and it will be out, they said, quote unquote, soon. So don't know what that means, but, and like that holds with the tradition of Sean Layden wearing a t-shirt at E3, and then something having to do with the t-shirt he's wearing like coming true. So yeah, so pretty cool. I don't think I ever really played Medieval, but that's another game that's like, it's got a huge following, people love it, so yeah, it was pretty exciting for those people. So that's pretty much like that's what I caught from PSX. There's probably other stuff that happened, but I think those are the highlights. Pretty chill this year.
Yeah, very very low key. Not an event per se where you're gonna learn a lot of new things, but something for the fans. So for sure, being there is a much better experience.
Sean Layden did say in an interview with Greg Miller that by this time next year, he hopes that nobody will have to ask him when we'll be able to change our PlayStation Network names.
Right.
So he indicated that by this time next year, that will be a thing.
By this time next year, they'll be able to definitively say it won't happen.
Yeah. By this time next year,
you won't have to ask me again because the answer is no.
They will have just shut us down. So
sure. Yeah, no, we can't do it. We tried. It's a no.
After years of trying, we found out that we can't. So
he said,
now you know.
I'm not going to quote him word for word, but he said when Greg asked him about it, he was like, people ask me this all the time. He said his quote was like something like, "We have people working on it right now. It's a bigger it's a bigger process or a bigger deal. It's a bigger task than you would think." And so that's how he prefaced his statement of, "I hope by this time next year, you won't have to ask me this anymore."
Surprise! You can change them for just $9.99 and limited to 2 every 5 years. You can change your name.
$9.99 each.
Yeah.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up being something like that, but yeah. So who knows?
$10 or $10 on Xbox. You can change it.
$10 on Xbox.
Is that every time?
But if you do it, but if you do it too many times, you'll like time out. Like you can't do it for so long. It's like putting in the wrong password too many times.
Next E3 prediction show, I'm just calling it now. That's gonna be one of my predictions. So I'm just gonna stick with it
6 months
and
early.
hopefully it's gonna happen this time. So we'll see. Fingers crossed.
All right. Well, that was PSX and all the other things from this.
Announce it. Sorry, Chad. When they do announce it, the only way they can do it is live on stage and have somebody go like this. Oh, and while we're here, I just want to let you guys know I just changed my PSN name. And everyone will erupt in applause. And so can you right now. Blah, 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 blah.
We'll do a live stage demo of Bong Ripper 420 changing his PSN name.
Yeah.
To whatever.
People like
it's funny, and then
you will see every person in that audience pulling out their cell phone or Vita or something.
Yeah, and then
do it right then.
PlayStation servers will crash or whatever it is, and they'll get hacked. And
your security will be and all your games will be stolen. Also, you can change your name. I hope you're happy.
This is getting the end for PlayStation. That'll be like their fault.
You can change your names. It's free, but your trophies go to 0.
Oh, that would suck.
And your credit card information is stolen.
They're like, you can do that now. You just start a new one. What do you mean?
Yeah. Oh, really? Wow, what is that about? All right. Well, that's going to do it for all the news and such this week. It's going to wrap up this week's podcast as well. And remember, we're part of the SueEmpire.com podcast family. We have some really special things coming up for you here for the Christmas week and the New Year's week. Please stay tuned to the podcast. Make sure you check out the videos or download the audio. Tell your friends. We hope you have a wonderful week. It's been a real good podcast. You got to get the YouTubes because Dave is real good at his faces.
Do I look? If I was blue, do I look like that blue bald eagle from the Muppets?
Oh, you do, yeah.
Exactly what I was thinking. Wow. Blue bald eagle Muppet. All right, that's going to do it for this week. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
The blue bald eagle. Bye, YouTube. Thanks for coming.
He wasn't recording.
That's the end of this podcast forever. It's just done. I'm deleting it. We're done.
Just delete every episode.
It's gone.